Hi, I'm Ken Kennerly. This is a true story about my family, a house fire, and a castle that rose from it. I was just a boy when it started, and I've been trying to understand it ever since. This is Voices in the Round Room, Episode 5. The first time I heard it. Most kids never get to say that they grew up in a castle. And at that age, it felt like something out of a story, a fairy tale, which it was not. It was supposed to be something exciting, something magical. But there was another side to the story. Because most kids also never have to experience the kind of darkness that came with a place like that. This wasn't a castle like the ones that you see in magical movies. It wasn't like something that Walt Disney built. There were no lights, no music, no sense of wonder once the sun went down. This one felt different. And over time, it didn't feel like a place filled with imagination. It felt like a place that held something else, something heavier, something that didn't belong. And I think that the first time I ever felt this darkness that I'm speaking of, I was 6 or 7, and I was walking through the castle. It was still unfinished. None of us lived in it yet. And I was strolling through it, excited, thinking, being creative, and trying to be filled with wonderment. But that's when it happened. I should say it's when it first happened. You know, there's just something about an unfinished house. The walls aren't complete, when the floors are still bare concrete and every sound carries, every step echoes. Even the smallest movement feels louder than it should. The castle wasn't finished yet, and rooms were only partially framed. The stacks of bricks set against unfinished walls. And the middle turret was still just wooden beams stretching upward. But to me, it felt enormous, almost like a maze. And I remember walking down one of the unfinished hallways. The concrete floor was beneath my feet, exposed framing all around me, and a silence that felt too silent. And that's when it happened. I heard something. A sound. Wasn't loud, not yet, but clear enough that I stopped walking. It sounded like something moving, or someone moving deeper inside the castle. Now, in a normal house, that may not mean much. But this house wasn't finished, and as far as I knew, I was the only one that was there. I stood still, listening, trying to figure out what it could be. And then I heard it again. This time, closer. something moving. No, someone moving. And it was so loud that I knew it wasn't just my imagination. And it was moving, not fast, but steady. And that's when something shifted. Because it didn't sound like something random. It sounded like something intentional. I remember just standing there, not moving, not speaking, just listening. I was frozen right where I was, unable to move. And for the first time in my life, inside that unfinished castle, I felt uneasy. And I knew I wasn't alone. The next episode, I'll tell you what happened when I decided to go looking for the source of the sound. What was causing that sound? Was it something or someone? Maybe I shouldn't have, but I did. And I knew that I would not, or that I was not imagining it. If you're enjoying this journey through this story with me, subscribe so you won't miss the next chapter. Because the deeper we go in the castle, the harder it becomes to explain what happened there. And eventually, everything leads to the room that gave this story its name, the Round Room.